Hey guys, in this video I'm going to compare the Dyson DC41 Animal on the right to the Dyson DC65 Animal on the left. So check it out. This is the new Dyson DC65 Animal. If you compare it to the DC41 Animal on the right, you don't see a whole lot of difference. And that's true. The vacuums look almost identical. So the Dyson DC65 Animal just came out, I think about a month, maybe 2 months ago. And some reviews are trickling in. Some videos on YouTube are coming out of people doing some reviews and some unboxing videos, some assembly videos, stuff like that. The way I found out about the DC65 Animal was someone had commented on my other video in which I compare the Dyson DC41 Animal to the Hoover Air Pro, and they asked, well, how does a Dyson DC65 compare? And I thought, well, what in the world is that? Checked it out, and the Dyson DC65 Animal is supposed to be Dyson's newest, latest, and greatest vacuum. Supposed to be better than the DC41 Animal. Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to do is compare both the vacuums, and we'll see, is the DC65 Animal an improvement over the DC41 Animal? Good question to ask. All right, you will notice that the vacuums have different color heads, or bins. The one on the right is pink. The one on the left is a bluish purple, okay? Now, if you had any experience with Dyson vacuums or just looked them up on the internet, generally the way it works is the pinkish colored Animal is the complete version, which has a variety of attachments included in the box. And the bluish purplish colored Dyson is kind of like the standard Animal with fewer attachments. In terms of functionality, the way the vacuums work, there is no difference. Okay, now don't get me wrong, these are two different models, so there's a difference between these two. But between the Dyson DC41 Animal with a pink and a purple head, no difference. And between the Dyson 65 Animal with a pink or a purple head, there's no difference. Okay, so that's all it is. Someone had commented on my previous video saying, well, that's not the Dyson DC41 Animal, that's the Dyson DC41 Animal Complete. Well, functionally, there's no difference. It's just color. All right. So I just wanted to make that clear. All right. So before we do our testing, let me really quickly go over the specifications of both vacuums. Okay. The DC41 Animal weighs in at 17.1 pounds, and the DC65 Animal weighs in at 17.35 pounds. Okay, not a whole lot of difference there. My experience in using the DC65 Animal is it feels, in terms of weight, exactly the same as a DC41. No difference there in terms of like real life noticeability, if that makes any sense. Both vacuums have a hose, or yeah, the hose is the same length at 15.4 feet. Hose stretches out that far. Both vacuums have a cord that is 35 feet long. The bins of both vacuums, that's where all the crap goes into out of your carpet. It goes into the bin. The bin on both vacuums has 0.55 gallons capacity. And here's where the major difference is. The DC41 Animal has 235 air watts of suction, and the Dyson DC65 Animal has 245 air watts of suction. Now, what I thought was interesting is in the advertising for the Dyson DC65, it says, or Dyson says, that there's 25% more power. Okay, well, if you do the math, 245 is only 4% more than 235. So where do they get that? Well, I thought about it and looked a little bit more closely, and what they're referring to is the brush power. The brush motor on the DC65 Animal is supposed to be 25% stronger or more powerful than the brush motor on the Dyson DC41 Animal. Okay, well, I'm not going to go over it in too much detail, but my suspicion is the cleaning head, including the motor, is the only thing that's different on the Dyson DC65 Animal compared to the Dyson DC41. In the future, what I will do is swap the cleaning heads and see if the Dyson DC41 Animal performs exactly the same as the Dyson DC65 Animal. We'll see. But first, let's compare the two vacuums as they are. Okay? All right, so those are the specifications. Now, what is actually different? Now, like I said, the suction is supposed to be increased. All right, so 235 air watts on the Dyson DC41 Animal and 245 air watts on the Dyson DC65 Animal. Got it. Excuse me. So the main difference between these two vacuums, like I said, is the brush roll. So let's see if I can do this with one arm. I'm going to show you how exactly or how they are different. Okay, so first, let's look at the Dyson DC41 Animal. We have brushes here. You notice that these are fairly short. Compare them to those, which are a little bit longer. And that's exactly how it is. I'm not sure why Dyson designed it this way. My guess is so as to prevent hair from bundling up on the brush as much. Assuming that the hair would not cling to the shorter brush as much as it would the longer brush. All right. That's something we have to do with these vacuums if you have pets, which if you own the animal version, you probably do, is clear the hair from the brush head. All right. So if we look at the DC65 Animal, let's push that over there for now. We have same length brushes all the way around. All right. According to Dyson, these are stiffer brushes meant to agitate the carpet better. All right. Now next, this is the DC65 Animal. Pay attention to the amount of area right here that is exposed. If you compare that to the area here, you'll notice that the DC41 Animal has more area exposed. Okay, so let's get them right next to each other. If I can do this. Okay, looking at them now, pull back a little bit. You can see that this area is larger than this area. All right. So that kind of goes back to my earlier suspicion. Is the only thing that's different between these two vacuums the brush roll? Because, as I indicated earlier, the increase in suction on the DC65 Animal is not that much. 4% is not that much. Did Dyson accomplish that merely by restricting this area right here? I don't know. Okay, now let's go back to my main point. The only real difference between these two vacuums is the upgrade on the brush roll. So, let's find out how the Dyson DC65 Animal compares to the Dyson DC41 Animal on carpet and hard floor. Okay, so now we're going to test the DC65 Animal on the carpet using the same exact method that I used in my previous video, in which I compared the Dyson DC41 Animal to the Hoover Air Pro. The idea here is to maintain consistency with procedures, so I can, within reasonable bounds, compare the Dyson DC65 Animal to the Dyson DC41 Animal on carpet, and then next we're going to use the vacuum on hard floor. Okay, so just like in our previous video we're going to use 8 ounces of baking soda, 8 ounces being half a pound. So first, let's go ahead and put this on here. Zero it out, so we're only weighing the baking soda. We're going to get 8 ounces. See, I'm going slow because I want to make sure we get 8 ounces exactly. Oh, see, I have a little bit over, so let's go ahead and back up a little bit. Okay, let's see how close I got. Okay, add a little bit more. 8 ounces exactly. Okay, so I'm going to put it out in the same pattern approximately as I did in the previous video. Like I said before, to try to maintain consistency. I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. Next, I'm going to try to crush the chunks. I want to make sure it's as close to a powder as possible. I did the same thing in the previous video. Okay, and then I'm going to rub it into the carpet a little bit. Next step, let's zero the scale out according to the weight of the bin. So we're only weighing the baking soda at the end. All right, now we're good to go. In the last video, I did 9 passes, excuse me. I'm going to try to do 9 passes at as close to the same speed as I used in the other video. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. So those 9 passes. Let's see how much baking soda we picked up. 7.5 ounces. All right, let's next see how we do on hard floor. All right, now we're going to see how the Dyson DC65 Animal compares to the Dyson DC41 Animal on hard floor using, again, like I said in the previous segment, the same procedures that we used in my previous video. That is to maintain consistency so we can, within reasonable limits, make a pretty accurate comparison between the two vacuums and the Hoover Air Pro if you wish. All right, so just like we did before, we're going to zero the scale out. So we're just picking up the weight of the baking soda, and we're going to do 4 ounces of baking soda, just like we did in the previous video, as 8 ounces is a little too much on the hard floor. There we go, 4 ounces. Now I'm going to put it in the same exact area that I did in the previous video. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to crush the kind of chunky ones. I don't think we had as many of those in the previous video. All right. Now our last step is weighing the bin. To zero it out, we're all zeroed out. In the previous video, I did 4 passes. I'm going to do the same thing now. Let's see how we do. By the way, before I start, in the previous video, there were some concerns that I had the brush roll on while I was vacuuming on the tile. If you pay close attention, you can hear the brush roll actually stop and maybe even see my hand press the button. I will not be using the brush roll on the hard floor. See how it did? Now, just like in the previous video with the Dyson DC41 Animal, the Dyson DC65 Animal picked up 4 out of 4 ounces, 100%. All right, so we finished our testing. How did the DC65 Animal compare to the Dyson DC41 Animal? Okay, on carpet, if we can go back to the results from our previous video, the Dyson DC41 Animal picked up 86% of the baking soda we put on the floor. In contrast, the Dyson DC65 Animal picked up, drum roll, 94%. There's some improvement. Now, also, just in case anyone's curious, in the testing I did in the previous video, the Hoover Air Pro picked up 91% of the baking soda we put on the floor. So, the Dyson DC65 Animal not only beat the DC41, but also the Hoover Air Pro. On the hard floor rather, it shouldn't be surprising because in the previous video, the Dyson DC41 Animal picked up 100% of the baking soda. I would be amazed to find out that after the DC65's performance on carpet, that it didn't pick up 100% of the baking soda on hard floor as well. Well, it did. It picked up 4 ounces out of 4 ounces, 100% of the baking soda on the hard floor. Now, these results are consistent with my experience using the Dyson DC65 so far. I vacuum about once a week. We have several people in the house, and we have 2 pets that go in and out all the time. So there's always a considerable amount of stuff I pick up with the vacuum. I have to say, and it's somewhat of an estimate or a guess, that the DC65 picked up a significant amount of dander or dust left in the carpet that the DC41 missed. Now, this isn't a test. This is just based off of my experience. But in general, using the DC41 on a weekly basis, I don't think I pick up as much dander or dust as I did with the DC65. Additionally, while using the DC65 on the carpet, I noticed considerably more power in the brush roll. Using the DC41, I can tell that the brush roll is pulling the vacuum forward just a little bit. With the DC65, I notice that's a lot more noticeable. I notice that's a lot more um, potent. The brush roll is stronger. You can just feel it while you're using the vacuum. A second thing I noticed while using the DC65 is that while I'm using it on hard floor, you can hear my dog in the background barking. But while I was using the DC 65 on hard floor, it was hard to pivot on the ball. And I thought, well, what's going on? Is the ball malfunctioning? Is it not turning properly? But after using it for a little bit, I noticed, wow, it was because of the suction on the floor. The suction was so strong that it actually helps prevent you from pivoting on the ball. I mean, it's not a drastic effect where it inhibits your use of the vacuum, but I think it's a point. It's proof that the vacuum has more suction. All right. So I think in addition to our test with the baking soda, we have these sort of real world experiences with the vacuum that it just strengthens my impressions overall of the vacuum. So which one's better? On hard floor, they both perform equally. On the carpet, the DC65 performs quite a bit better. Well, we have 86% with the DC41 Animal, and then we have 94% with the DC65 Animal. The DC65 also outperforms the Hoover Air Pro in both areas. So not only do you have the outstanding performance on the hard floor, you also have the good, very good performance on the carpet. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. See you later.